anything and anyone causing a ripple in the community. And now, let's dive in to the Splash Live.
Hello and welcome to the Splash Live, Greater West Bloomfield's daily news and talk show. I'm your host, Tyler Kieft. On today's edition of the program, your regular host, Dave Scott, is out for the week, the big birthday boss. This week we'll be back on Monday to begin next week and begin the April versions of the Splash Live. This isn't some April Fool's prank. I know it's the day before April Fool's, but we're not playing a prank on you. I am hosting the show for the entirety of today's program. Of course, this is all part of our 90 minutes of news every single day of every single work week, beginning at 9:30 a.m. with the Splash Live. And Dave Scott talking about what's going on here in the Greater West Bloomfield area, West Bloomfield Township, in the Tri-Cities of Keego Harbor, Orchard Lake Village, and the prettiest little city in Michigan, Sylvan Lake. That's 9:30 to 10 a.m. Monday through Friday. Then stick around. We'll expand out into Oakland County and across the state of Michigan in some regards with the MegaCast at 10 a.m. That's 10 to 11, 1 hour of local news and talk and information at 10 o'clock, both this morning and every morning, Monday through Friday, right here on the on Civic Center TV. It's all beginning on Comcast Channel 15 and AT&T Channel 99, where you can find us on our regular programs. Again, Comcast Channel 15, AT&T Channel 99, and the Public Access Education and Government Channels Guide. You'll have to navigate through to your hometown and the four communities, West Bloomfield, Keego Harbor, Sylvan Lake, or Orchard Lake Village, and then select Civic Center TV or WBTV even, the West Bloomfield School District's channel on Comcast 19 and AT&T Channel 99, and watch us live every single day, as well as, tune in periodically throughout the afternoons and the evenings during the week to find us as well. But you can always find us on the internet as well on our website, civiccentertv.com, either on our Watch Live link at the top of the page, that small player on the right margin of the home screen. If you're watching us on your computer or certain other devices that will view our computer website at civiccentertv.com, you can always watch us live and find us on demand as well on that website, civiccentertv.com, for all of that information. And you can also find us on social media. Of course, we're always live on Facebook for our full 90 minutes of news coverage every single day. That is going to be on facebook.com/CivicCenterTV15. Facebook.com/CivicCenterTV15 is the website to watch us live on Facebook. And you can also find us live on our YouTube page at Civic Center TV. And even if you're not able to tune in for the full live show from 9:30 a.m. to 10 a.m. for the Splash Live, or 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. for the MegaCast, both of those episodes will be available on demand immediately after we finish the show on YouTube on our Civic Center TV page. Of course, they're not going to be all polished with descriptions and a nice title on them and everything. That usually comes between the end of our shows and about 1 o'clock in the afternoon, where you'll also find them on our website. But we're always live and live to tape, as we call it in the industry, or on demand, as most would say, on Civic Center TV's YouTube page at Civic Center TV. And you can always listen to us on your way to work or on your commute around town, wherever you're going today in the Greater West Bloomfield area, on 89.3 Lakes FM and lakesfm.com, Greater West Bloomfield's very own radio station with simulcast programming all day long from Civic Center TV, whether it's meeting replays or our live shows or other programming we've produced over the years about the history and the intrigue here in the four communities. You can always find us live on 89.3 Lakes FM for the full 90 minutes of local news and talk weekdays from 9:30 a.m. to 10 a.m. for the Splash Live, and 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. for the MegaCast with me each and every day. 90 minutes of coverage in the Greater West Bloomfield area, as well as throughout Oakland County. Now let's get into what's always affecting us. It's the outdoors, the weather in our community as we go into the weekend with a little bit of rain on this warm Friday. It's going to be higher temperatures today are expected throughout the local area. Your high today, 57, with mostly morning rain, but rain throughout the day. Wind south-southwest at 10 to 20 miles per hour. 100% chance of rain. The entire local area here in the Greater West Bloomfield community will be getting rain today and already is getting rain, with your low tonight being 48 degrees. Possible thunderstorms early tonight with winds south-southwest 10 to 20 miles per hour. And that again is going to be with a 100% chance of rain, according to weather forecasts in our community. Saturday, still some rain also. Cloudy periods of rain, especially early morning. High of 51 degrees with temperatures falling to then 40 degrees. And a Saturday night high that's going to feel like winter again, 24 on Saturday night. With winds north-northwest at 15 to 25 miles per hour and gusts as high as 40 miles per hour. That wind is the same thing, the same situation you could see on Saturday during the day as well. So we're going to have rain all day today, rain and some thunderstorms on Saturday, but Sunday we get a little bit back to what's been the norm of late. 46 your high, 39 your low. It's going to be partly cloudy during the day, sun along with some afternoon clouds. Winds south-southeast at 10 to 15 miles per hour with your low on Sunday night. 39 degrees and winds south at 10 to 15 miles per hour. And then we get back into some of the warmer weather and the warmer sunny weather next week, with Monday a high of 62, Wednesday a high of 64 degrees. That is your highest temperature expected over the next week, but thunderstorms and wind expected on Tuesday and Wednesday. Scattered thunderstorms Tuesday, thunderstorms on Wednesday is the current forecast. But for today, expect rain. For the weekend, expect rain and some potential thunderstorms as well. Now let's take a look at what's making news and what events are coming up around town. Some interesting stuff coming out of the West Bloomfield School District this week as students from the theater department, from the West Bloomfield High School's theater group, had visited New York City, went and saw the Big Apple this week, exploring some of the great theater and the atmosphere in New York, where many of these people that could potentially be the actors and the other performers of the future may soon call home. Got to visit there. You can also see Christine Stevens, their theater teacher, also there with them, as well as other staff, faculty, and parent chaperones as they go all across the Big Apple, a variety of theaters and other sites, and exploring New York City. Exciting trip for each and every one of those theater students as they head to New York this week. And so we'll move on from there, and hopefully they enjoyed that, much like the high school students that we talked about earlier on the week that were in Costa Rica. Students now going to New York City this week, as well as West Bloomfield High School. And the whole school district has been on spring break, and some of these different areas of interest, these different departments that they may engage with in the classroom, now getting experiences outside of the classroom as well. Also making news today around the Greater West Bloomfield area as we move on. Some news from the West Bloomfield High School girls basketball team, as with the exit due to health problems of Susie Merchant, the longtime women's basketball head coach at Michigan State University. Both of the Davis twins, Summer and India Davis, who are just coming off of incredible seasons for the West Bloomfield Lakers, where Summer scored over 1,000 points in the season, and India was named the Gatorade Girls Basketball Player of the Year in the state of Michigan. They have decommitted from Michigan State University as a result of the coaching change. They were, of course, recruited by Susie Merchant. She is a legend at Michigan State University and in the women's basketball community. And that was just a perfect fit for the Davis twins, and that's why they were so excited to commit to MSU under Susie Merchant, with her exiting due to health problems and a new coach coming into MSU presumably very soon. This is the statement they had. If you're watching, you're seeing the statement on the screen, but I'll read it for those of you on the radio or those of you that are listening in the background at work, at home, or wherever you may be tuning in today. Due to Coach Merchant no longer being with Michigan State University, we have decided to decommit. It was a difficult decision because we love MSU, but it was the close relationships that we built with Coach Merchant and her staff that were the most important in regards to our decision to become Spartans. We still very much are interested in getting to know the new coach and staff when they are announced, and we are open to recommitting to MSU if the new staff is interested in us and if it is a mutual quote-unquote fit. At this time, we would like to announce that we are open to hearing from other schools, and we do plan to attend college together. So a package deal. The twins who've been playing basketball together their entire life are incredible basketball players in their own right. They will be heading. They were set to be heading to Michigan State University. Instead, at this time, it looks like they may not be going there due to the coaching change that occurred with Susie Merchant after over a decade at MSU, taking a leave throughout the majority of this season and due to ongoing health problems, has exited that position. Congratulations also to many of the girls on the West Bloomfield Lakers basketball team who were named to the 2023 Girls Basketball Metro Detroit Dream Team, Second Team, and honorable mentions by MLive Media Group and their sports department. They had a great season, finishing second in MHSAA's Division I in the state, losing in the state championship in a very close and very exciting game to the Rockford Rams. Hey, some things you got coming up here in our local community that you can engage in. Go on a hike with some heroes from our West Bloomfield Township Police Department, as well as our friends at West Bloomfield Parks. That's coming up on Tuesday of next week from 5 to 6:30 p.m., meeting at the Recreation Activity Center and taking a walk on some of those great trails behind West Bloomfield Town Hall. You'll go on a hike with one of their naturalists, as well as an officer from the West Bloomfield Police Department, get to know some of your public safety, and learn a little bit about the nature here in the Greater West Bloomfield community from experts at the West Bloomfield Parks and Recreation Department as they take you on a hero hike. You can register for this event by visiting West Bloomfield Parks' website at wbparks.org, wbparks.org, or visit them on social media or the West Bloomfield Police Department on social media such as Facebook to learn more information, ask them questions about the hero hike coming up next week, Tuesday. Also coming up in the Greater West Bloomfield community, as we move on, Calvin, you can go to the next one. You have an Easter egg hunt going on in Sylvan Lake next week as well. That's going to be Saturday, April 8th, 1 week from Saturday at 10 a.m. Their 13th annual Easter egg hunt at the Sylvan Lake Community Center. Plenty of fun in the prettiest little city in Michigan for this Easter egg hunt. Bring out the children and enjoy a fun time hunting for Easter eggs at this annual event. Eggs are requested to be donated by participants to Sylvan Lake Parks and Rec, and they're requested for this event to drop off donated plastic eggs and candy. There are 4 places you can drop that off to: Sylvan Lake City Hall, 2177 Ferndale Street, 2043 Pontiac Drive, or 1780 Briarcliff. For reference, Sylvan Lake City Hall is open Monday through Thursday, so you'll have plenty of time next week to get those Easter eggs and those candies over to City Hall if that's the centralized location you want to drop off in the city of Sylvan Lake. You can get your child's picture taken also with the Easter Bunny at this event, but please be aware the event starts right away at 10 o'clock, and there's going to be multiple hunts, so Easter eggs could all be picked by the time you get there if you're coming later on. So they're encouraging you to get there at 10 o'clock and participate right away. They don't know how long this event could go on. It's all based on how many of these Easter eggs, how much candy they do get, and ultimately they'll be able to put this event on for as long as it can possibly go on that Saturday, a week from Saturday on April 8th at the Sylvan Lake Community Center. In addition, a special little wrinkle too, 10 of those eggs will be golden eggs, and it will include something special in them as well. Again, you can always learn more information if you go to sylvanlake.org and subscribe to their Sylvan Lake News Bite. Their Sylvan News Bite, you'll get even more information on this. They'd recently had a post in that News Bite. Finally, also going on around town, something that you can engage in as we move on, Calvin. You can go on to the next one here. If you will, please go on to the next event. We'll talk about one more thing that's going on here in the Greater West Bloomfield community. So much great things going on. If you're ever looking for events, I'll just go on a tangent for a moment. WBparks.org is a great place to go. GWBHS.org, another great place to go. They have an upcoming open house that's going to explore some of our past tax records here in the Greater West Bloomfield community. Now, why would that be interesting? Look a little bit into the history. Where were houses back in the 50s? What was the cost of living in the community back in the 50s? Maybe you knew someone who lived in some of those houses. There's plenty of incredible events right here in the Greater West Bloomfield community. And again, if you're looking for another sort of Easter-themed event, we talked about the Sylvan Lake Community Center's one on Saturday next week. If you can't attend that, West Bloomfield Parks is having one on the 6th. Their Spring Fling Egg Scramble and Flashlight Hunt at Drake Sports Park from 4:30 p.m. to 9 p.m. It's going to also happen in different heats or waves. So register online at wbparks.org. They're expecting around 8:30 when it starts to get dark. That's when they'll begin the flashlight hunt. Residents and non-residents are able to attend. Residents will be required to pay $7 per person for registration. Non-residents, it'll be $9. But another great fun event right here in the Greater West Bloomfield community as we get right into the thick of Easter season and celebrate the holiday next week. Let's take a break here on the Splash Live. Coming up next, West Bloomfield Lakers have a new head coach for their football program, and he will join us to talk about this upcoming season and the promise of this program and taking over for longtime defensive coordinator and head coach Tyrese Grice. Zach Hilbers, the new head coach of West Bloomfield Lakers football, joins us next. Stay tuned. You're watching the Splash Live.
We'll be right back with the Splash Live. Stop by West Bloomfield Town Hall June 14th and get your health in check at the 14th Annual Greater West Bloomfield Health and Wellness Fair. Over 40 businesses, organizations, and vendors take the time to showcase healthy practices, tips, and resources for the community. Young or old, there's something for everyone and everybody. 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Wednesday, June 14th, the 14th Annual Greater West Bloomfield Health and Wellness Fair. This community update from Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM.
When you have a gambling problem, you have a money problem. Don't let your gambling cause you financial hardship. If you or someone you love is struggling with gambling, we can help. Get free confidential counseling and win your life back. Learn more at michigan.gov/problemgambling.
Watch Civic Center TV with our brand new live captions. To turn on live captions, go to civiccentertv.com and click Watch Live. In your web browser, click on the Options tab in the top right and find the Accessibilities tab. Then just switch on live captions to heighten your enjoyment of our local programming. Thank you so much for watching Civic Center TV. And now, back to the Splash Live.
Back to the Splash Live, Greater West Bloomfield's daily news and talk show. I'm Tyler Kieft. You can always tune in to us Monday through Friday live from 9:30 a.m. to 10 a.m. across our network. Learn more information on civiccentertv.com, where you'll also find all of our programs on demand, usually about 1 o'clock in the afternoons when we'll have our live shows from each and every day up there for you to tune in anytime that you'd like. You can also find it right away after our shows conclude if you're just tuning in on our YouTube page at Civic Center TV. Well, we're getting closer and closer as we get into the spring. It's one step closer to football season here in West Bloomfield. And with the exit of head coach Tyrese Grice, there is a new sheriff in town in West Bloomfield football, and it is their new head coach, Zach Hilbers, who was announced recently as the new football coach. Zach, congratulations, and thanks for joining us today to talk about it.
Hey, thank you. I appreciate it. It's good to be here.
Yeah, good to have you with us. It's been a long time coming. You've been an assistant coach with this team for about 16 years. You're a graduate of West Bloomfield High School. You were a captain on the football team. So how does this feel for you to have this opportunity now to take over as the head coach of this program?
You know, it's a simple question that doesn't have a really simple answer, I guess. It hasn't really sunk in yet. It's been a little bit over a week, and I've been busy kind of like nonstop doing, one thing to the next, making sure I got everything in order and set up the way that we need to get it set up for the kids. But in reality, I don't know, it just feels like a great sigh of relief, I guess. And really just excitement about what we have to come.
Yeah, and the program's in an exciting spot too. It's been a contending program for several years, a state championship during the COVID year, a couple of years of contending in Division I. Beyond that, always high expectations with this football team, and so managing that is a huge part of the role of head coach with this particular program, because there are expectations. The players have those expectations. There's those outside pressure because football in the state of Michigan continues to grow bigger and bigger, and not necessarily to that level of where it's at somewhere like Texas or Florida or other places, but it's getting to that point. So how do you, as a leader of this team, having that experience in the past with some of these players, manage sort of those expectations going into another football season?
Well, I think you make a really good point. Like the weight of expectations are hard for anybody, and we're talking about kids. Some of them are 14 to 18 years old. And it's really my job and our job as a coaching staff that those expectations should be on us, and our kids should be prepared, I guess, to just go out there and not have to think and to just go play. Right. So are the expectations going to exist? Yeah, absolutely. But that's really on us, just to make sure that we're doing the things the right way, to put them in the best spots. And really, it's because, I don't know, no kid should have to be on a football field thinking about, that type of thing or what they're going to do next. They should, be basically prepared for each moment and be just out there reacting.
And so much of what's made this football program maintain its success, especially in recent years, I mean, this is the third coaching change in 4 years for West Bloomfield High School football, with Coach Bellamy a couple of years ago after the state championship exiting and becoming now the wide receivers coach at the University of Michigan. Tyrese Grice was the head coach for a couple of years, and now you're taking over. That's a lot of turnover, and for most programs, that could be problematic in some ways and the others. But what's great about West Bloomfield football is there's always been that cliche of that next man up mentality. And so even despite the leadership changes and losing players over the last couple of years that have had really big roles on that team, you got a lot of players that are returning and have, they've been younger guys on this team, but they've been critical players. In particular, Rick Nance coming back, your quarterback, is going to be an upperclassman this season. So speak to that leadership that you have in place, and the maintenance of most of this coaching staff at this time, and how that plays into this change of an era that's kind of not also a change of an era.
That's one thing. I guess we were kind of lucky 2 years ago when Coach Bellamy, 2 years ago, Coach Bellamy stepped away, went to the University of Michigan, is that, Coach Grice took over and did an awesome job just kind of maintaining that culture that, we as a whole program tried to help build for the last, at that time, the last 10 or 12 years. And, it's my goal just to kind of, you got to be yourself. I have to do things my way, but we also know what's really worked for us and what the kids are comfortable with. And we have to just maintain that positive momentum that kind of those guys before me built. In terms of our player leadership, I think you're absolutely right. We had 3 kids, believe it or not, that were in that state championship game a few years ago. Rick Nance, like you mentioned, Kari Jackson was a freshman on that team that played some, and Brandon Davis-Swain played a decent amount, a healthy amount as a freshman that year. So, we're fortunate as a coaching staff to have those guys be an extension of us to the rest of the program, because, we can do everything in the world as coaches, but the best teams are going to be player-led. They are. They can believe me and trust me and get behind everything that I'm saying. And all my assistant coaches the same way. But when the kids are living it themselves, that's when it's really special. And we had that a few years ago, with Donovan Edwards and Jordan Hoskins, that were awesome senior leaders on that state championship team, and Terrell Thurman. I can go on and on. But, your best teams are going to be player-led, and we're going to really rely on those 3 and guys like Jameer Benjamin and Jamar Johnson and MJ Johnson just to really just kind of continue that tradition that they saw growing up in the program from kids that are older than them. And hopefully they were watching, they learned, and they're ready to take that step.
Yeah, that defense is going to be very intimidating this season. Coming back with Brandon Davis-Swain, one of, if not the most highly coveted defensive lineman in the entire country, with his recruitment still open. Kari Jackson recently committed to Penn State University, a linebacker, and as you mentioned, MJ Montel Johnson was really that surprise player for those outside looking in that came in last season to a starting role for the first time and knocked it out of the park. That defense, and then you look into the secondary with guys like Jameer Benjamin, it's stout. It's arguably as good as that defense in the state championship year. The offense is a little bit younger, but it has that veteran leadership too, with guys like Rick Nance leading the way. Speak to that offense this year and how those younger guys are going to be able to take that step forward, and are they ready for that?
Yeah, I mean, I think so. I think we had a group last year that, if they needed to, they could have played a whole lot more. And as the year went on, we had some, I guess, bad luck with injuries and health toward the end of the third part of the season. I guess if you chunk it, the 9 games into groups of 3, those last 3 games we weren't that healthy, and we were playing a lot of young guys. And Josh Tate, I think on homecoming, came out against Lake Orion, scored 2 touchdowns as a sophomore running back, and a guy like Brody Pecor played like 3 or 4 different positions as a sophomore just because we needed him to. Like, he was lining up at quarterback, running back, fullback, kind of doing anything. So those guys, like, they got to learn a lot and they got to play some, and I think they're ready to go. And we've had some other like younger receivers they've been really, I guess, waiting their turn because they've had some really good players in front of them, and they're just eager just to get an opportunity to go out there and show what they can do. So, I mean, yeah, it's easy to see like, oh my gosh, Samaj Morgan's gone, Kenneth Jones is gone, Amir Herring's gone, Dallin Henry's gone. Yeah, those guys were really good, and we're not just going to like put somebody in, it's going to replace them just like that. But we also have some guys that are really working hard, and we think are going to be pretty special too.
The Lakers football season begins the penultimate week of August 24th at 7 p.m. They will be participating once again at the Zenith Prep Kickoff Classic. They'll be taking on Clinton Township Chippewa Valley, and this will be the third appearance for West Bloomfield at this particular event. Speak to that and how being in an event like this that does get a lot of notoriety in the local area, getting that exposure, that excitement to kick off the season. What does that bring to a team like West Bloomfield?
The exposure is great. The kids get pumped up for it. It's funny, me, like, I don't like all that extra stuff, having to go down to Wayne State and like there's a game before you, so your normal pregame routine's just different. You're not out there warming up as like you kind of are for every other game. Your routine's off. So that always makes me nervous. It always has. But the kids love it, the fans love it, the communities love it. And it's funny when I think I texted my dad to tell him I got offered the head coaching position. And he said, congrats. About 2 minutes later, he says, wait a minute, you're playing Chippewa Valley week 1? Why'd you do that? And I was like, I don't know. We'll find out how good we are right away, I guess. And it's just, it's that type of excitement and anticipation that, everyone's already excited to play football anyway. So why not just add to it?
Yeah, it's a great way to start the season. You can really feel the energy when you're there. I felt as a play-by-play and color commentator for the Lakers. It's just that opening season feeling, and really it's just a great football environment. So 7 o'clock at the Zenith Prep Kickoff Classic, August 24th, as the second to last Thursday of the month of August is where the Lakers will kick off the season against another powerhouse program in Chippewa Valley. Coach, thank you so much for joining us.
I really appreciate you guys having me. Thank you.
Yeah, glad to have you on as well. You can always catch West Bloomfield Lakers football live on Civic Center TV and on 89.3 Lakes FM. That's going to do it for this week's editions of The Splash Live. Always can keep up to date with us on demand on CivicCenterTV.com as well as on our YouTube page. Until next time, take care of each other. We'll see you very soon.
Wake up, Greater West Bloomfield. Start your mornings with The Splash and tune in for The Splash Live. Get acquainted with people, places, and activities that are live, local, and for you. First thing in the morning, weekdays at 9:30 a.m. on our Civic Center TV YouTube page, or watch us